If you love it and you want to succeed in it, then you've got to put in the work. That's something that we already knew. That's something that is almost ingrained in anyone that works in a kitchen, that if you want to make it happen, then you've got to put in the work. My name's Rawan. I graduated from Algonquin College 2017 from the Culinary Management program. I started off in the industry in Beirut in Lebanon, working at a bakery for about 5 years, 6 days a week, the usual 12-hour days. When I landed in Ottawa and did the Culinary Management program, I worked at Becta as a pastry chef for a while, at Alumna Gelato Cafe, where I was a pastry chef and at one point the kitchen manager. At that point, I had already met my now husband, and he was looking to venture into entrepreneurship as well, which is why we decided, let's take what my passions are, because I had a set career in mind. I wanted to be a cook. I wanted to be a chef. I wanted to share my knowledge with people, and he wanted to be an entrepreneur because it's something that you're almost born with, right? So we came up with Rebels in the Kitchen, which is our current business right now. And the business model before Rebels in the Kitchen came into play, it was in the beginning food photography and styling and whatnot. But with all of these kind of quick, almost, press and go photographers that are popping up, for example, Transparent Kitchen being one, where they're mainstreaming food photography, it was almost putting us out of business before we actually got into business. So we had to study the market again and go back to the drawing board, which we did. So we looked for whatever was painful for people to throw a party, which is sourcing all the food and setting things up, usually. We did the ads, we filmed everything, we had everything, the marketing strategy was done, and then COVID hit. So we decided to go back to our roots, photography, videography, what we know, our passion for creating content. And we kind of merged the idea of an influencer, content creator, marketing, advertising firm almost. And we started a small department in our business, which we like to call creative advertising for food businesses. We're trying to figure out a way to stay in business and work smart and not hard, because we are almost always nearing a burnout because of all of these new regulations that keep coming up that we have to keep up with, And businesses have responded to that by creating online menus and doing more of like a curbside pickup, delivery, all of these things. Meal kits as well are things for entertainment that a lot of businesses I saw online have started to adopt as well. So as far as the industry itself goes, I had blindfolds when I first went to school, and when I was in the industry, I thought what it actually meant to be a part of the industry is to actually cook in a kitchen, the traditional sense of restaurant, hotel, catering. That is what I was kind of stuck in. COVID really slapped some sense into me. Whenever people ask me why I love doing this, is that I love seeing the reactions of people when they eat the food that I either make them or teach them how to make. I'm the one that sits back and watches people eating. It might sound creepy, but you guys will understand how that feels. There's a sense of satisfaction in that. One thing that I also am working really hard on is the back-end business part of running a business, being on the ball about sending emails and responding to emails. And boy, I still struggle with that because, it's not, again, being in front of the computer and all of that really hurts my brains. Like, I need to be cooking and smelling and eating and tasting and creating recipes and fun things. So for me, sitting in front of the computer, typing out emails that still sound very friendly and appealing, and I get a lead and I really want to hook them in and sell them my cooking class. So I'm working a lot on those skills. So as far as what you guys could do, sky's the limit still. People are still going to want to eat. People are still going to want to experience something that gives them a sense of, oh, I treated myself. Self-care is becoming even more apparent nowadays. So learning how to package whatever you're trying to sell them, if it's packaged in a self-care kind of thing, like care for yourself, order a kit, or care for yourself, teach yourself how to cook your favorite meal. It might sound sleazy, but that is what marketing is. So you need to learn how to market as well. So I've become, over the past few months, a teacher again, because I had taught way back when, and I taught art. I didn't even teach cooking. So I became a teacher. I became obviously a business owner, an entrepreneur. I became an administrative person. I learned how to use QuickBooks. So I do a little bit of finance now. I know how to file taxes for my business. And on top of all of that, I still need to keep myself creative. So I'm constantly creating recipes and putting content out there. Our social media has actually done well since COVID, because I'm constantly trying to get people to become more of a community around us, because the bigger our community, the more I have people to sell my products to. So there's a lot that you guys could do. And it's all about really looking at your skill sets and what you can learn and increasing that. You know, cooking and being talented in the kitchen can only get you so far nowadays, because we're no longer in kitchens in the old sense, you know, old-fashioned sense. We don't know if things are going to go back to normal. You know, if you love it and you want to succeed in it, then you've got to put in the work. You know, that's something that we already knew. You know, that's something that is almost ingrained in anyone that works in a kitchen, that if you want to make it happen, then you've got to put in the work. And it's exactly the same still. It's just the package that it's going to come into, or be, you know, given out into the world, has changed. Perfect. Great. Yeah. One other thing that we've been doing is, and I brushed over it a little bit, is the online content. And we started something called Rawan Reacts, where I react to really bad Lebanese recipes I find online. So we brought in humor into cooking, and I also explained why I'm reacting so negatively to, you know, to that recipe. So funny enough, because of those videos, I got contacted by Chef Walid Al Tawil from Chef's Paradise, and he invited me to give a cooking class through Chef's Paradise. And it's we've been doing these kind of outreach to other businesses around, whether they're in the food industry or they're more like a mega supermarket. For example, we have another project with Adonis, the Mediterranean supermarket. We've been working on doing these online partnerships. So that's something else that, you know, I've seen a lot of businesses kind of cross promote one another and bring, you know, you have this skill set and I have that. Why don't we put it together and see what we could do with it? So, and they support one another. They make sure that they're both, you know, getting the exposure they need or the business that they need, and moving forward with that. So there's really a lot of different avenues right now. It's more so about what new skills do these avenues require, and how can I acquire these skills?
That's the idea of this, is just to inspire them that there is a future, and you get a vacant 50-seat restaurant that used to be open, but because of COVID, it's vacant. More than one revenue stream. You can't just have curbside pickup or walk-in traffic.
Yeah.
Next semester, they're doing the business.